world. March, we are march. For help to build up a country. Jiggy, jiggy and march, march. But make we dance with it now. Come make we march. All Jamaicans, we are one big family. Time come for deliverance. So make we march in unity. Whether PNP or Labour rights, our God loves all of we. We are marching on to progress. Jam down and be all of we. Everything Melissa broke down, we are gonna build back. We are gonna build back better than before. Every house we broke down, we are gonna build back. Cause our God have blessings in store. Time comes to rebuild together. Cause Jamaica is our home. We are stepping out of darkness into the light. We're gonna build stronger roof and doors.
Good morning, Liberals, and good morning to all other comebacks watching this channel. Welcome to another episode of Political Hard Talk. I am your host, none other than the greatest Labourite alive. Good morning, my people. Good morning. Now, we're going to get into some AI audio this morning. I got something that I want us to go through. Somebody said to me on Facebook that Angela Rowan Burke is more intelligent than Kamina Johnson Smith. So I have a clip this morning that I want you guys to listen to. And I want you guys to tell me if you think so. You know, as you guys can see from the heading, while, you know, we had the live last night, when I came off the live last night, I was speaking to Shanice and, you know, I was reflecting in my mind, you know, that while a lot of things is changing for the better in Jamaica, there's also a lot that remains the same, you know, and it is incumbent upon us, the citizens, to point these things out and to the authorities to fix them. This is why we vote for them. This is why we elect them to lead, you know, and when they are elected, a majority elects them. And, you know, if we can speak on one voice, then they will hear us. There's a lot that needs to be changed, especially in the judiciary. And we need to get that started. So let's roll out the morning shout outs, my people. When you tell me if you not see me, tell me if you not hear me. I was having internet issues just now. Tell me if me blurry or what. And let's roll out the morning shout outs in the meantime. Good morning to my beautiful wife. Good morning, baby. Aubrey, big up yourself. Nemad, big up yourself. Sylvan, Arlene Perrin, big up yourself. Robert, big up yourself. Antia, big up yourself. Beltina, big up yourself. Mama Marcia, Alan, big up yourself. Arnold, big up yourself. Desireen, big up yourself. Eunice, big up yourself. Melody, good morning, mama. Dahlia, big up yourself. Shana, big up yourself. With some Radcliffe, big up yourself. John Black, big up yourself. Good morning. Dahlia say loud and clear. So let us get into it, my people. I want you guys to listen to this and tell me what you think about this exchange. Listen to this.
I have actually seen someone
No, man, I can
whose
tell you.
clothes was so tight, member.
No, but
that the
no,
buttons open in the parliament.
I can.
And big up Talk Sense Media. This audio is from Talk Sense Media. So big up Talk Sense Media, my people. And you know, you can go over there and subscribe as well.
Member Brownberg.
Thank you very much for that. I am hoping that we can indeed not take.
Good morning, June. Good morning to my beautiful mother-in-law. Good morning, Winford. Guys, remember if you tap up a live as soon as I get in, like a live. If you're here for the first time, if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. Please. Thanks.
The whole hog all at once. Because I do believe that there is a way in which we could take it in pieces. Not necessarily, you said last time they were each provision one by one, but that's not necessarily what I'm thinking. We have 14 parts, plus appendices and other stuff. If we decide say, that we are going to do it in 5 sessions, for example.
No, that's intent. When I said we would have to take all of it, meaning we would have to finish the process, not that we would do it in one session.
Okay.
Okay. No, man.
Yeah, okay.
Not that we would do it in one session, but it wouldn't be where piecemeal we only looked at and submit to the House one segment.
We are at one. Right.
So it may take us 10 sessions.
Right.
But it means that based on how it is designed and formulated, we would have to complete the process of reviewing.
Agreed. I'm in total agreement with that.
All right.
So that's
I'm going to give you an example of
Don't
why.
give me, because I agree with you.
Yeah, you agree. Everybody in agreement? Everybody?
It's
I have
clear.
to make sure, that the membership, either majority or everybody. Look here, I am making sure. So I will give you an example, like if you look at
everybody
Standing Order 12 and the current redrafted Standing Order 12, and you can compare it to Standing Order 35 in the revised document.
I hear a chat and a laugh in the background and a lady attack. No, not tell me what kind of intelligence is that, but we continue to listen.
So if you notice before, when we couldn't make any adjustments, we used to go alphanumeric designation to be able to chuck in something new. Now, the standing orders revise. For example, if you look at it, 73A, one section separate, B, 73C, going down. And it would now relate to the various committees. No, yeah, and it would continue if we decided to introduce new committees that these standing orders apply to, these provisions apply to.
I know that one of the things we have been struggling with, which had a long conversation around in the sessions that we did for the post-election seminars that we had, was around the role of the speaker and the judgment of the speaker. And because in our arrangement, the speaker has such great latitude, I believe that some of the items that we have should have more specificity. And the example I would bring to your attention is, I think it is part 3, item 17, I don't know, standing 17, which is around the dress, for example. Which has been a very problematic one over the years, because what we have is so archaic. So dress just simply says that members shall wear business attire in all proceedings, and then next it says the speaker may from time to time issue specific guidelines regarding acceptable attire and shall be the final arbiter of the suitability of a member's dress.
Mr. Robinson, my namesake.
No, that little part around the dress code, I don't understand what is so hard in wearing business attire. And I suspect this is around the tight clothes them that Nikisha Burchell are wear. She and Angela Brown Burke. Angela Brown Burke. I wear so tight clothes. I better know who was she in that tight clothes. I beg to pardon this man and my paper. Might I put it out of imagination, so I beg to pardon this man. I don't know who was she in that tight clothes. But she argue for people can wear whatever, but we must not allow it. See, like how we have a dress code in schools, we have a dress code in our House of Parliament. You must wear business attire, and you know, come a go club. See, business you come to deal with people them. See, just roll out and shout out some people. Kimberly, big up yourself. Donald, Bent, big up yourself. Dalton, K. Clark, good morning. Trisha, big up yourself. and MK Dollar, big up yourself.
Mr. Robinson, my namesake, I'm not a stickler
to
for the
this, my
dress
people.
code like the member from Southwest St. Catherine, but generally when you come in here, ensure that you have a tie, okay?
I am extremely not comfortable with that. I believe it's too vague when you simply say business attire. I would hate to know that I come.
So wear as business attire. Wear something formal, something nice. What is wrong with this intelligent doctor lady that is called Angela Brownberg? Huh? Anyway, we'll continue to listen to people.
To Parliament with my fitted jacket, my nice fitted pants, nice suit, and the speaker believes it's too tight.
I believe the speaker is also talking about Isaac Bakaman. Isaac Bakaman is too tight in our parliament, my people. We need to run him out next time he come in tight, so. See?
Seen someone
No, ma'am, I can
whose
tell you.
clothes was so tight, member.
No, but
that the buttons open in the parliament.
I can walk in my closet, not too tight.
No, meaning
And because
I have seen a member sit down in this house. I decided not to point it out, and it is in a recent
no, but
time.
I want to.
With
So the
all
speaker
the
can
bus,
allow me
with
to
all
complete
the bus
and then
buttons
go.
opening inside the house. And I will go further.
Madam Speaker.
That is definitely the Keisha Birchell, my people, but I can't think I look like a man she come in there for look, you know. You look like he come in there for do the work. A man she come there for look and come, you know.
I want you to hear me because you are the one with the latitude.
Hey, the cameraman is so messy with people. As I say, I think Keisha Birchell, the Madam Speaker talk about the cameraman put the camera upon the Keisha Birchell.
Alerting that when you have such a latitude, it cannot be that vague. I don't want to go into the conversation today because I assume that there's going to be a time when we are going to do it. I'm just alerting that given the powers of the speaker and this idea where some believe that the speaker doesn't have to be there, that we need sufficient. You know where I'm going. You know where I'm coming from. So
the presenter didn't say some. The presenter was very clear.
That was the presenter's opinion.
Yeah, the presenter was very clear.
That was the presenter's opinion. I don't happen to share it. And that is the reason why I want to make sure in such circumstances we have enough specificity for there to be some guideline. It's not for the speaker. It's for all of us because these are our rules that guide us. And I just alerting. I think outside of that, I'm good. The two most important things is additional documents that were used or that were developed from which we ended up having. No, you wouldn't have had
other documents developed. So you wouldn't have had other documents developed. So let's split the two benchmark discussion.
Yes.
I think I was just listening to see if...
The paper. Imagine Angela Brownberg. You know, on tights. Body flat, sitting on printout, foot them K, teeth them brown. Anyway, we continue to listen to people.
On the same page in that regard, one of them would have been a benchmark review of our parliament.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'd like to be able to see the benchmark review.
Right, so it wasn't really standing orders.
No, man. But it's generally, and it would have some implications, would it not?
No, that's why I wanted to make sure you're clear on that. The benchmark is really the standard across various different parliaments. What is the standard across Commonwealth parliaments? So they would be able to give you, right, like the standing orders now.
Would I like to know, really, would I like to know, because I listen, I would really like to know, what is Angela Brownberg's problem with being formal, with formally dressing in business attire? Because I look like a tights and body rider. Angela Brownberg was allowing our parliament to see there something we averted September 3rd. Eh? We see there something, we stay there.
That would have highlighted what is best practice in various jurisdictions. So I will find out from Sean if he has a document per se, or he can give us a body of documents that we can refer to as like a research or background to be utilized.
Thanks for that. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping we can get.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure everybody is clear in that regard. Thanks, member.
No problem.
Do you have any other point before? Just making sure.
That the specificity.
All right, let me answer that as well. As it relates to specificity required, there is no parliament anywhere in the world where the speaker is going to have such specific guidelines for everything that, no, I'm just saying this generally. Such specific guidelines for everything. So much so I'll say to you, in even going into Trinidad and Tobago when we visited, the speaker in Trinidad and Tobago uses what she called at the time speaker's notes. I think that's what it's called, huh? I'll explain what it, remember. Like the reminder notes. So like some standing orders, they would send out just a reminder just to refresh persons' understanding of something or give some clarity to a standing order. There was a note to it I think it's called speaker's notes. Huh? No, not opening remarks. It's a written document that would have been circulated. Like one of them I remember was as it relates to persons who carried phones in the chamber, instrument in the chamber, giving an update. One of them was like noise in the chamber where people came and, right. So there were some speakers' briefing notes that used to be circulated from them.
All right, so Angela Brown-Burke seems to want to, wear anything she wants, because she want, you know, it look like Fireman nobody want her, so she go up in the age, and now my people, she hot. She want cool down. So she want can show off. I don't know where you going to show off, but you want can show off something. See? Angela Brown-Burke, we have make millions of dollars for here, can't even braid her hair, my people. Huh? That is a national disgrace. They will throw him out of parliament too, for that. For comb in head, I look presentable in our parliament. As it relates to relaxing the rules, I don't agree with you have to wear a tie. I believe I can wear your jacket, a formal shirt, maybe the top button can be pulled, and you wear pants and dress shoes. I would agree with that. I don't believe that you have to and you must wear a tie. I know in England you don't have to wear a tie. You don't even really have to wear a jacket either. But most person, does. Isaac Backerman is always tight. Nikisha Burchell is always tight with her titty them out. And Angela Brown-Burke, it look like she compete with Nikisha, because, she don't want them to take away whole I man them, and she not get none. She did get one, but it look like the one the bad wanted. So, it look like he want when I knew one them, so he want can tie it up too. Well, we not allow in our parliament Angela Brown teeth. Sorry. Anyway, we're going to move on now to the, we're going to move on now to the AI audio. As Jamaica prepares to, confirm if we have found oil or not. I wanted to get into some of that, and I wanted to look at what it would mean for the Jamaican people, what it would mean for our economy. And, finding oil can also be a bad thing as well, because we have people like Donald Trump who are thieves. See? So let us get into that audio. After the audio now, we will talk about the whole court case that is coming up today with Jylan Silvera and the murder of his wife. I will have a few things to say about that after the audio. See? So just stay with me. Like up your live, my people. There's 117 of us, and we don't get 50 thumbs up yet. So get me to at least 50 thumbs up. See? Let's go.
Decades, the world has seen For decades, the world has seen Jamaica through one lens, a paradise of turquoise waters, reggae rhythms, and world-class athletes. It's an image of culture and charisma. But beneath that surface, hidden from the tourist's gaze, is a possibility that could rewrite the nation's destiny and send shockwaves through the global order. It's not a new song or a sprinter, but a geological whisper that's louder. Deep within the Walton Morant Basin off its southern coast, Jamaica is sitting on a potential energy jackpot, prospective resources that could total over 7 billion barrels of oil. This isn't a confirmed discovery, but it's a shot at a future almost no one imagined, one that could turn this island nation into an energy player. But this incredible dream is shadowed by a gathering storm. As global powers watch with a mix of greed and alarm, Jamaica faces intense geopolitical pressure and immense internal hurdles. The question is no longer if there's potential for oil, but whether Jamaica is on the path to becoming the next Dubai or the next Venezuela. The story of Jamaican oil isn't new. It's a tale of decades of frustration. Since the 1950s, international prospectors have come and gone, drilling 11 wells on and offshore. Each one ended in disappointment. While 10 showed tantalizing signs of hydrocarbons, none led to a commercially viable find. For years, the consensus was that Jamaica simply didn't have what it takes. But that story is being rewritten. The company leading the charge is UK-based United Oil and Gas, or UOG. Armed with modern seismic imaging its predecessors lacked, UOG acquired the rights to explore the Walton Morant license, a vast 22 400-square-kilometre block of ocean nearly twice the size of Jamaica itself. And what they found has stunned observers and reignited the nation's hopes. Using advanced 3D seismic surveys, UOG has mapped a geological landscape that looks a lot like some...
So just to put in context, the area that they're looking at for oil stretch from Morant Point to Negril Point along the south coast of Jamaica. So Kingston going past Manchester, Clarendon, St. Elizabeth into Westmoreland. See? So that is the area that they're looking at. And they're saying that potentially oil is along that entire stretch, my people. So enough oil that. See?
The world's most successful recent oil regions, like Guyana. Their internal estimates, built on this new data, point to a staggering potential of over 7 billion barrels of oil. To put that in perspective, it rivals the initial potential identified in Guyana, a neighbouring nation currently experiencing the fastest economic growth on the planet thanks to its own oil boom. The epicenter of this potential is a prime target named Colibri, which an independent assessment from the global energy consultancy Gaffney Klein estimates could hold over 400 million barrels of prospective resources. But it's crucial to understand this doesn't validate that oil is there. Instead, Gaffney Klein gives the Colibri prospect a geological chance between 19% and 34%, meaning there's still a significant risk a drill bit could come up empty. Still, Colibri is just the beginning. UOG has identified over 40 distinct prospects with high stakes, James Bond-themed names like Thunderball, Moonraker and Blofeld. The Thunderball prospect alone is estimated to hold a potential 603 million barrels. The evidence for a working petroleum system is compelling, with signs of oil-generating source rocks, and even an offshore oil seep confirming that hydrocarbons are being generated deep below the seabed. After decades of failure, the data finally suggests Jamaica might have all the right ingredients. The only thing left to do is drill. So what would finding even a fraction of those 7 billion potential barrels mean for Jamaica? The numbers alone are almost hard to wrap your head around. A significant discovery could generate over $30 billion in tax revenue, while also carrying the potential to double the nation's entire GDP. For a country that has long battled persistent public debt and leaned heavily on tourism and remittances as its economic lifeline, this would not just be a boost to the economy, it would represent nothing short of a national transformation, an economic turning point with generational consequences. The dream is clear. a Jamaica finally free from its economic chains. One of the most immediate benefits would be energy independence. At present, Jamaica imports over 90% of its energy supply, leaving households, businesses and industries highly vulnerable to unpredictable swings in global oil prices. This dependency often translates into higher electricity costs and reduced competitiveness for local business. A domestic oil supply would change that dynamic completely. By slashing the energy import bill, Jamaica could stabilize and even lower electricity prices, encouraging investment, expanding manufacturing and sparking a ripple effect of economic activity across multiple sectors. With billions in new revenue flowing in, the Jamaican government would be positioned to make unprecedented investments.
Tell me if you not hear me, tell me if you not see me. We can see live or dwindle down. That usually happen when persons have signal issues. So tell me if you not hear, tell me if you not see me, and tell me what I go on, my people. Tell me if there's a break in the audio, and tell me what I go on. See?
In the nation's future. This windfall could be used to reduce the crushing national debt while funding long overdue infrastructure upgrades. Modern highways could connect remote areas more efficiently. New schools, hospitals could uplift communities, and expanded ports could strengthen Jamaica's reputation as a regional logistical hub. Importantly, such growth would not be limited to the oil industry alone. Thousands of high-paying jobs would emerge, not only in energy, but also in engineering, construction, catering, logistics, and countless support services. The economic diversification alone could ensure long-term stability. Beyond economics, the geopolitical impact would be profound. An oil-rich Jamaica would instantly gain newfound influence in the Caribbean. Its economic strength would amplify its voice within CARICOM and potentially reshape regional power dynamics. On the global stage, Jamaica could assert greater strategic autonomy, less reliant on aid or external financial institutions, and better able to chart its own course in world affairs. This is not only about wealth, it is about sovereignty, leverage, and national pride. And the possibility is not just theoretical. Guyana stands as poorest nations into the fastest growing economy on the planet. If Jamaica strikes commercially viable oil, it could very well set the stage for one of the greatest economic turnarounds in the modern Caribbean. For every dream of a petro-state paradise, there lies a parallel nightmare where the promise of sudden wealth transforms into a long-lasting curse. For Jamaica, this nightmare is shaped not only by powerful forces outside its borders, but also by deep challenges within its own society. What might appear as a pathway to prosperity could just as easily spiral into political turmoil, economic imbalance, and foreign interference. The first danger comes from the external world, the suffocating pressure of global powers. A multi-billion barrel oil discovery in America's backyard is not something the international community would ignore. Jamaica's strategic position, sitting near both the United States and the Panama Canal, makes its oil instantly valuable as a geopolitical prize. Washington, a stable and friendly oil supplier so close to home, would be a strategic asset, ensuring energy security and reinforcing American influence in the region. Yet, this same advantage brings risk. If Jamaica, desperate for the billions in capital needed to develop its fields, turns instead to Beijing, the island could suddenly become a point of great friction. For the US-Chinese investment would not simply be an economic matter, it would be seen as a direct challenge to American dominance in the Caribbean. For China, however, the opportunity would be golden, securing energy supplies while expanding its political reach into a region long considered America's sphere of influence. Very quickly, Jamaica could find itself caught in a new version of the Great Game, a pawn between two global superpowers. But perhaps the more immediate and insidious danger is the internal nightmare, known as the resource curse. History is crowded with nations that display immense natural riches only to collapse into corruption, inequality, and instability. The first is Dutch disease. A sudden flood of oil revenue could strengthen the Jamaican dollar to the point where other essential industries, tourism, agriculture, manufacturing, become too expensive to compete globally. Over time, the economy could lose its balance, tied almost entirely to a single commodity. Then comes corruption, the silent poison. Oil wealth often overwhelms political institutions, creating massive incentives for bribery, graft and cronyism. Rather than narrowing inequality, resource wealth can widen the divide between rich elites and ordinary citizens, fueling discontent and unrest. And here lies the most pressing challenge of all. The company with the license to this dream, United Oil and Gas, does not currently have the $30 to $50 million needed to drill even one exploratory well. This is not unusual for smaller exploration firms, but it creates a fragile situation. The entire project rests on UOG's ability to attract a major partner willing to finance the operation. They are already in a race against time, holding talks with larger oil majors under strict non-disclosure agreements. If no partner is secured, Jamaica's grand vision of oil wealth could evaporate before it even begins. The nightmare, then, is not only a distant possibility, it is a very present danger, one that will decide whether Jamaica rises as a new energy player or stumbles into the same trap that has consumed so many before it. Facing these threats, Jamaica is navigating a high-stakes game of economic and political chess. The outcome, blessing or curse, depends entirely on the choices its leaders make now. The first and most critical move is to look at the model of Norway. When Norway discovered oil, it created the government pension fund Global, now the world's largest sovereign wealth fund. The principle is simple. Instead of spending oil revenue right away, the government invests it abroad. This prevents a flood of cash from causing runaway inflation, curing Dutch disease before it starts, and converts a finite resource into a permanent source of wealth for future generations. The second move is mastering the art of the deal. Jamaica will have to negotiate with oil supermajors like ExxonMobil and Shell. These companies have armies of expert lawyers focused on one thing: maximizing shareholder profit. Guyana's experience is again instructive. The production sharing agreement it signed has been heavily criticized as being overly favorable to the oil companies. Jamaica must learn from this and build a world-class team to ensure any contract it signs is fair and benefits the nation. Finally, all of this is playing against a ticking clock. The exploration license held by UOG is not forever. After securing a crucial 2-year extension, the deadline is now January 31st, 2028. By that date, a decision to drill must be made and work must be underway. Finding a partner, negotiating a deal, securing permits, and mobilizing a rig takes years. The game must be played, and it must be played now. Jamaica stands at a historic crossroads. Down one path is a future of incredible prosperity and influence, a nation transformed by its natural wealth, a model of development for the Caribbean. Down the other path lies a darker future, a cautionary tale of squandered opportunity, geopolitical manipulation, and internal decay, where the dream of black gold becomes the nightmare of the resource curse. The potential for up to 7 billion barrels of oil is not a guarantee. It is merely an opportunity. The immense possibilities are shadowed by equally immense risks. The world is watching. Superpowers are making their calculations. And in Jamaica, the hopes of a nation hang in the balance. The choices made today about building a sovereign wealth fund, negotiating with oil giants, and protecting institutions from corruption will determine which path the country takes. Will this be a blessing or the ultimate curse? What do you think Jamaica should do to avoid the resource curse? Which path do you see it taking? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Now, I am confident that should we find this oil, my people, we are in the greatest hands. You know, we are in the better of the two political party hands. And these guys who are running the country now have proven to us time and time again that they are about leadership and about growing this nation. I am hopeful that my nation will fail and, you know, we'll be able to grow from that. If we find it now this year, it would be a good thing, knowing that we just came out of a pandemic and we just, you know, took a massive $6 billion loan, almost $7 billion United States dollars loan. And should we find that oil, we could pay for that overnight. We can pay back for that, and we can continue to build out our infrastructure and build out our country. And we're in the best hands. And should the pendulums swing to the other party, my people, we know what will happen. Corruption, corruption, murder, corruption, murder, corruption. That is what follows PNP. Not saying that there's no such thing in the Labour Party. But over the years, when you look at both parties and their governance, it tells you that it is the Jamaica Labour Party that always look after the best interests of our nation. They are the lesser. If there were two evils, the JLP is the lesser of those two evils. And it is an absolute fact, my people. See? So, I am hopeful that we will find that oil and Jamaica will blossom from that. Guyana, who had about 600,000 people on the island, now have over 1 million persons on the island because, the opportunities that this find, that when they found oil, it opened a lot of opportunities for persons, for business persons. People move to Guyana with their families. Guyanans are, I don't know how you pronounce it, how you say, Guyanans, how you pronounce it, are Guyanians, yes, Guyanians, who live abroad. Those persons start to return home in their jobs, so should Jamaica make one of these discoveries, we probably see, a lot of Jamaicans, Guyanese, yes, the Guyanese, I beg your pardon, see, I guess, these persons who are of Jamaican heritage, will be returning home in jobs. And, that would be a good thing to see in my lifetime. I am a patriot, as I keep saying, and I love my nation. And I would want to see a mass exodus of Jamaicans leaving places like the United States, Canada, England, and returning to our island to build it and to make it greater than what it is today. See, I mean, I talk about everybody. We not left nobody. We can, if we pity them born a foreign, we carry them home too. We can build a country, build our institutions, with this find, with this oil, it would strengthen everything. It would strengthen our economy. It would strengthen our dollar. It would strengthen our schools. So when you go to Jamaica and you get an education in Jamaica, you can carry go anywhere in the world with just this oil find, This is how powerful oil is, So I am hopeful that it is there. I dream of a greater, a more powerful Jamaica. And, out of this oil find, we must build a fighting army as well. We must not leave that out of the development of our nation. See? Today is the big day, my people, as it relates to Jailan Silvera. Now, this brother who looks like a nerd, I would say, he struck gold, or he struck oil in this find. Now, if you look at this picture of his wife, and just how beautiful she is, it will tell you that if you're a nerd like him, he actually struck gold. She was ambitious. I was told that she did not have any siblings. I'm not sure if that is accurate, but that is what I am told, or I was told. However, she had children. I'm sure she had a mother and a father. Probably had aunties and uncles and persons who loved her. Her husband have decided that he is, the Alpha and the Omega, and he gets to take her life and end her life, taking away these children's mother. You know, I was told that yesterday he was smiling, you know, because I guess he's getting his way. You know, he's seeing that, okay, maybe I'll go to prison, but I'm not going to spend life or I'm not going to spend 20 years. So I was told that for the first time yesterday. You know, he was smiling. So I guess he have won, my people, you know, and we must speak up about these things in our country and in our society. And something like this must never happen again. You know, and when me say, me not talk about the murder, I'm talking about when the murder happens and the evidence is clear that you did it. You know, the judiciary, the justice system must always seek the highest penalty. Every life that is snuffed out, that person had a right to life, and you had no right to take that person's life. You know, and when we see these things happening, we must go after them. People are going to say that I am harsh because I am a laborite and he's a PNP. You know, I am not going to lie to you people that because I am a laborite, I don't want to see him down. You know, I want to see him go down. Whether I'm a laborite or not, that is part of it. I am a laborite, that is part of my identity. I want to see him go down on a human level. And the level that he was a lawmaker and should have known better. You know, I want to see him go down for that. You know, I was told that he is an arrogant man, a rough man. You know, I was told that on an occasion, he and his neighbor has had some dispute. And this is what I was told. I have no facts. I have no evidence that this actually happened, but somebody tell me that he and his neighbor had some bust up and he had killed his neighbor's dogs. You know, so that is the sign that that was the sign that this man is out of his mind. I am not in agreement with the many Jamaicans this morning will wake up in agreement. Some will agree because I see some PNP trying to justify, you know, what he has done. And this is what is really harming our country. You know, the political divide is so polarizing. It is so tribal that, you know, even in an instant like this where somebody is blatantly in the wrong, you know, people who are affiliated to the PNP cannot, you know, take out their head out of the PNP asshole for 1 second. Just to look at the facts and to say, you know, what he did is wrong and he must face the full punishment. However, I did see a PNP blogger who goes by the name Hardball, see, saying that we should lock him up and dash the key. You know, so I want to send big up to Hardball for just that statement. But in saying that to Hardball, I want to tell Hardball that we're also going to lock you up, Hardball, for the people them cheat goat and one hug with your teeth. We're going to lock you up too. So I him want to go to prison. Yeah, I go to prison too. For pre-day last day. See? Fun and joke aside, my people. You know, all of we have children. Well, not all of we, but most of we have children and most of we have relatives. You know, and you know, when you have your children, you expect them this is the order you expect it to go in. You expect them to outlive you. You expect to be there for them. You expect to grow old. You expect to get sick. And you expect to just lie in your bed and just die. And you expect the children to mourn for you, bury you, and go on and live their life. This is what you expect as a parent. You know, you don't expect to have to bury your children. You know, and at 42 years old, you know, she was very, very young, still a young woman, you know, who had a lot to offer. And those children needed their mother. And because of one man's selfishness, you know, and that is what the court and the justice system should always look at. You know, we need to amend the Constitution to say that when you take a life, you no longer have the right to life. You know, we need to amend the Constitution to say that. You know, when you decide to take it upon yourself to take a life unjustly. Now, if you are defending yourself and you doing so, you manage to, you know, accidentally kill that person, then we can see. Still warrant a charge of manslaughter, but we can see. We can see with that. You know, whatever the reason may be, as men, we have to learn. You know, we are going to get irritated. You know, I get irritated about stuff. But when I do, you know, I either I stop it talking or I remove myself. I jump in my car, I go about my business, I go for a drive. You know, after a while, you sit down, you think about it. You come back, you're angry again. You know, we must not allow things to build up and fester as men. And we have a problem. We have a problem in Jamaica, and I've talked about this on several occasions. You know, we are not people that are allowed to speak about our issues. You know, we are not allowed to have emotion as men. You know, the only two things that separate a man from a woman is our reproductive systems. You know? Woman have brain, man have it. Man have two eye, woman have it too. See? Woman have nostril, man have it too. We know our mouth, we have teeth, we have tongue, we have it too. The only thing that separates us is our reproductive organs. See? We are just as emotional as any female. It's just that how we are brought up. We are not allowed to say, I feel this way. And because we are not allowed to say, I feel this way, you find that a lot of men in Jamaica, a lot of men in Jamaica have pent up anger. A lot of anger is coming as far as childhood. You know, when you're a child, you're told to go and sit down and shut up and stop your bawling. You know, get up, tapping eyes. All of those things, hardness. You know, and when we grow bigger, we don't know how to translate those feelings into words. And because we can't translate those feelings into words, you know, we turn to anger. And when we turn to anger, it turns to violence. So we have to make room for our children, girl and boy, to come and say to us, Mommy, Daddy, I feel this way. Why you feel this way? Explain to me. You know? Because so and so and so. We don't have that in Jamaica. There's a lot of parents that does it, but the vast majority don't. For example, you have parents that everything they move to is to slap the child or to lick the child. I'm not against a slap, but that don't help. That is teaching the child violence. That whenever somebody does something wrong, you know, it is okay for you to lick them. That is what you're teaching the child. So when time that young man grows up and his girlfriend talk to him. See? Because when your kids talk to you in a certain way, you say, boy, who you talk to? Who do? I lick him down. When that young man grew up and his girlfriend talk to him, same way how him talk to his mother when he young and his mother lick him down. He might go translate that say, yo, you're not supposed, girl, you're not supposed to chat to me, so boom, and lick him down. No, am I saying that I don't have a temper? I have a temper. And when my temper kick in, me I gotta tell her to ras, me I gotta tell her to something. But it not go translate to me putting my hands on you. Most of that I learned myself. Now, granted, I never saw my stepmother and my father, fighting. I never saw that when I was growing up. I knew of one incident, where something went down, but for the vast majority of the time, I never seen them in any kind of altercation. Well, my stepmother, we cuss him about woman and sit now and have and then something, but we never see that translate in a non-violent. We have to move to a society if we learn to speak about our issues. And in us doing so, we might save a generation. Our girl children, we have to open the way for them to come and speak to us. Even about boys, they might see one little boy what they like, and God them a feel their feelings too, and them a learn to translate and to maneuver through life. No, you don't make it a point of your duty to run them way and tell them to go sit down. Make them come and tell you so you can keep an eye on things. That is the smart way to move. Jamaica have deep-rooted issues. We have a lot of mentally challenged people in Jamaica. Some people that are disguising as normal people in their day-to-day life. We have a lot of mental trauma in our country. Built up from years of slavery, leaving slavery, moving into years of degradation, segregation, and poverty. We are just trying to find our feet now in 2026 in a real way. And when I say in a real way, we are starting to see the government do something about crime and violence. They're starting to, make things available so persons can get counseling and all of these things. No, those things was there previously, but it was not being taken seriously by neither government nor normal persons. When we had a society where we had young men killing anywhere upwards from 15 to 30 persons before they were cut down by the police. What kind of anger, what kind of poverty, what kind of frustration would allow for one person to behave like that? And it is mental problems, my people, built up and pent up over the years. Now, I can tell you now, and I've told this story on several occasions, but we have a lot of new persons here. Now, ever since I was a young man, a young boy, around the age of 5-year-old, I started to notice. I started around then to notice that my mother, I don't think she did mean to have me. I don't believe that my mother wanted me as a child, and even now as a big man. And I started to notice then that I was different to my other siblings. I was treated different, and it is something that I experienced throughout my childhood, throughout my teenage years, throughout my adult age, even till now. And had I not have a positive mindset myself and wanting to achieve something. Now, granted, my father had a lot of influence on me, but I wanted, because I want thing with me, so they tell me say I can't do something. I ever tell me say you don't like me, I ever tell me something negative. My first instinct, is to prove you wrong. So, when you say that you don't like me, I'm going to give you a reason not to like me. When you say I can't do it, I'm going to show you that I can do it. That is how I am programmed. I don't know if it is the Capricorn in me or what, but, I say this to say that had I not been self-conscious myself, I probably would have been one of the persons walking around with mental issue. Now, am I mentally challenged? Yes, normally, just like anybody else, all of us have mental issues in some way. See? How do we work through that? We must learn to live in a society where we can walk away. Had Jael and Sylvia walked away, and I hope he's listening to me now. We know so they can smuggle phone through their rear end going in a jail cell. So if you might listen to me now, had he walked away that night, jump in a car, go for a drive, clear in mind, his wife probably would have been here today. His children probably would have had their mother today. And all of the bad things that they were going through during that time probably would have been fixed by now and they would have been okay. It is life. People go through rough times. I must learn to accept that. People go through hard times. Every time now go easy. Especially when you're in a fresh relationship and the relationship is young, you're still learning each other. Now, granted, this was a marriage, but we just use some analogies and some examples. You're in a fresh relationship, you still learn each other's, you're going to find things about your partner that you don't like. And what you need to do then is to make your voice be heard. See? We can do better as a people. And we must start to point out our indifferences. It is not something that is... I'm going to phrase it a different way. We have indifferences as people. But how we choose to deal with them, decides our future. Jael and Sylvia has links in the highest part of society. Me and you have none. So because we don't have none, I am encouraging you to walk away. Speak the issues. People are going to get frustrated. And let me tell you something. And this is what I learned. Talk to your partner about a behavior one time. Everybody have different tolerance. Some people can talk 10 times. 2 times. You talk 3 times, you don't see no difference. Take your time and walk away. See? When you walk away for your own benefit and for your own good. It helps you mentally. Take your time and process what is going on. Your spouse not here. Tell them or tell yourself, say, okay, you are not respected. I was told that this brother was putting his hands on her before they married. Now, in my mind, if I had a female always beating on me before we were married, I would tell myself that, you know, I might have to put my hand on her one day because she gonna lick me one day when me probably not in a right mood. And me might have to give her a motombo in her face. See? So it is best practice for me not to marry to that person and to walk away. See? A lot of persons don't tell themselves that because why? We grew up in a household, we see mother and father fight, they hate each other, they're miserable, but they now walk away. You know, that is the difference. When you work out things, some people might be able to, you know, some people might be able to change. You know, some people might say, all right, you lick me, I go lift you. Some people might say, all right, me love you, I go lick you. Me no know. But it is right, I would say, to walk away. And if Jael and Sylvia had walked away, you would not spend the last 2 years in jail. See? I can't see, you know, where the DPP have decided to not go after him in full. See? And no man, Motombo a punch, you know. Motombo is a punch, you know. A chew Motombo chew punch, you know. See? So, Motombo is a puncher, you know. But anyway, my people, I can't see we DPP is in a right to accept this plea. I believe, like I said last night, that this is lazy work. She's trying to secure the conviction so she get a big feather in her cap. I don't believe that this is in the interest of justice. We must make it clear that if you're in an altercation and you take out a knife and stab someone, we must make it clear that if you're in an altercation and you take out an ice pick and stab someone, we must make it clear that if you're in an altercation and you take out a gun and you shoot someone, there is no around that. See? There's no arguing around that. Now, if me I have a fight and me run off and me fling one stone after you and he miss, and you fling one stone after me and he connect me and me end up on dead, then in law, you can argue, say, you did that defend yourself, and I would accept that. You know, so for the DPP to make this move, and we will hear more today, you know, and as the day goes by and we see what is happening, I am listening out as to why, and I hope we hear today as to why they're taking this route. And I want them to seek the highest penalty in the manslaughter. In this case of manslaughter, I want them to seek the maximum penalty. You know, she was the only child for the mother. John Public say PJ is her godfather. He was the one who stopped him from burning the body. And we said kudos to PJ Patterson last night if that is actually so. You know, but we must not pretend. And you know, I must say this again. The PNP is still numb. Our mom You know, us is numb, but they are mum. Mum meaning for the PNP that is here, you know, they're not saying anything. And the silence is deafening. The silence of the PNP saying nothing means that they are in agreement with Jael and Sylvia. They are a rotten set, the PNP. And this is one of their own who was murdered. And, you know, they continue to say nothing. But I suspect after the sentencing, I suspect they will have something to say. They're waiting to see the outcome. And they'll have something to say. It will be too late because we continue to point out to the Jamaican people that, you know, people will get angry. I can't tell you, I have two baby mother. Sometimes I like seeing none of I told them. I feel like mother do them wicked things because them provoke me. But I not choose to kill none of them. You know? So, in this case, there's no excuse for it, my people. No, sometimes, all the time, I like none of I told them. I can't stand them. You know? But they are the mother of my children. You know? People might say you're not supposed to say that, but, you know, that is how they made me feel. But I don't behave like Jael and Sylvia. You know? So, there's no excuse for it, my people. Just walk away. You know? And we are... I don't believe that we are going to get the justice, my people. I don't believe that we are going to get the justice. Not being tried for murder is a slap in the face of Melissa, a slap in the face of the Jamaican public, and a slap in the face of Melissa's children. You know, so we know we ain't gonna get no justice by them accepting this plea. No justice will come from that. You know, and that is my stance and the whole matter. We continue though to watch and to listen. Continue to call for justice for Melissa, justice for her children, justice for the people that loved her. You know, Jael and Sylvia is a wicked man, and the good always die young, my people. That is something that I have observed over my lifetime. You know, people who are good and dead early, and a wicked heathen cruff. You know, they live, then get to live and see every part of life. You know, something there is not fair in the balance, but that is what we have now. So, you know, we just have to continue to watch. But the good die young, my people. The good die young. You know, I am hoping that the females in Jamaica will see this and tell themselves that potentially this is me. And if you tell yourself that potentially that is you, you must protest over social media. You must protest on the streets. Protest in your workplaces. Protest in your homes. Just the other day, we saw a brother in Westmoreland lock up a female. Lock up a female in her house and absolutely disfigured her. She ended up dying. This is the type of madness and cruelty that some of our boiled children possess in Jamaica. And it is from years of pent-up trauma passing down through generations. And we must do something to fix that, my people. Now, me and my girl picking them. And any boy take any one of them life. I don't want to hear nothing about no justice system. And no justice. What me want to do as government is to hold him and make me kill him back. That me want. So, if we're not going to get any justice for somebody like Melissa, I doubt I'm going to get any justice for my girl children if any one of them should go through this. And this is why we had this problem in Jamaica, where revenge killing was out of control. How do you stop revenge killing from happening? Is to get justice and to seek true justice. And when people behave like barbarians and wild animals, the justice system should be just, swift, and without apology. Melissa, who is a millionaire known person, she not get no justice. So what happened to my normal pitney when I know nobody? What happened to your normal pitney when I know nobody? And this is why the DPP has failed. Lazy work, DPP. Lazy work. Yes, Dennis, what he did is absolutely unacceptable. You know, and we must never sit down as a society. This would have been absolutely outrageous in a place like the UK. If this man blatantly kill his wife like that, then the CPS, Crown Prosecution Service, was to accept a manslaughter plea from him, it would have been outrage in the United Kingdom, and they would have to change it. Everything that happens in Jamaica, it happens because we sit down and we take it. That is why it is happening. Had Jamaica wake up this morning and said, listen, no way we are accepting a manslaughter guilty plea from him. He must be tried for murder. Had we woke up this morning as one voice, as one people, PNP, RJLP, me guarantee you by the end of this today, that plea would have changed. That deal or that plea bargain that he got would have changed. Now, you know, people might say, boy, you talk, you know the intricacies of the whole thing, you know, right there. That is true. That is true. But what we do know is Melissa Silvera died. What we do know is Jylan Silvera gun was used. What we do know is that the crime scene was cleaned up, it was tampered with. The very fact that he's trying to cover it up. Now, if my wife died from natural causes, you know, I would run out of my house bawling, ask for help, you know, I would be devastated, you know. I wouldn't say my wife died from natural causes and then clean up a crime scene or clean up a scene where she did before they even move her body. You know, so something is not right, my people. Something is not right, and I can't sit down and agree with that today. I can't agree with that today. Me try to explain to you that, you know, we have a problem mentally. We have an anger problem, especially within our males in Jamaica. And it might even be equally so with females. They might be just as angry. You know, me try to reason it out with you this morning to see, you know, and there's no way you can justify something like this. You know, I am not in agreement with the DPP's ruling, like I keep saying. You can tell me in the comment section if you don't agree or not. I am sure there are persons who agree. You know, there are persons who might want to see this end, especially in the PNP, because this no look good for them party. You know, I would must emphasize the fact that this man was a personal friend of Mark Golding. You know, we must emphasize on that fact, because had this been a friend of Andrew Holness, I can tell you no. So from the day it happened, right up till now, 2 years later, you'd be hearing that it is Andrew Holness that killed this woman. So, me can tell you no, we must emphasize on the fact that this man was a personal friend and company of Mark Golding. See? So, we must not shy away from these things. I have noticed though, my people, that the Gleaner and the RJR news group, they are not printing anything relating to this. So no notice. It look like we don't know what you are going in our country, you know. We have a news network that has no interest in a politician killing his wife. Can you believe it? We have people in the news that is supposed to carry the news unbiased. Is having a blackout and covering something so massive in the news. Well, I mean, I know, I can't believe in my people. It's hard to fathom. So while there's a lot of things changing in Jamaica, a lot of things still remain the same. And those things that remain the same, it is our voice that must change them. It is our voice that has to change them. I am standing on a view that because the Labour Party is in government and this man is a member of the PNP, they are choosing not to say anything because it might look political, because they're, you know, people might say because I'm a PNP, Labour right have this and that to say. So I understand their position. You know, but we must speak up. The females, they must speak up. And in both parties. While the law must take its course and why we must allow the procedure to go ahead, or the proceedings to go ahead, the females in positions of power, they must be the voices of the powerless. You know, I am not in agreement, but look back and see our grandparents and great-grandparents and slavery, it's still in us. Yes, Ivan, we have years of frustration. You know me, I shouldn't be this character that I am, you know. I should be a character that is angry. I should be a character that is hateful. I should be a character that have no love. That is how I was raised, my people. See? Give me a second there. Sorry, my people. Had a knock at the door. See? I should not have been this positive person. But, you know, because I go through trauma, because somebody don't love you and don't appreciate you because somebody don't want you around. Because, you know, you might not have it. That doesn't shape who you eventually becomes, my people. You can always choose your own path. You can always choose who you become. You know, is it my choice that I was born? No. Is it your choice that you were born? No. The consenting adults, well, somehow we come here and, you know, it wasn't consenting adults. Some of us came here by rape, incest, all of these things. And that is reality. But because you went through all of that, it does not shape who you ultimately become. You know, I love my children and I show them special love and attention. Why? I never got it and I know how it feels. So I want better for them. Now I noticed that we have some people in Jamaica who say, you know, I went through this and it made me this way and it never did kill me. Because you have the strength to go through that, or because I have the strength to go through that, don't mean that our children do. As a matter of fact, if you're looking at Jamaica now, you will realize that these younger children, they are way, way, way smarter than we was. But they are not as resilient and they're not as tough as we are. You know? So everybody and every generation, we have to move with the times and we have to change. You know, I can't sit down and mope around and not love my children because one of my parents never loved me. You know, what I can do is hold on to the love of the other one. You know, and I can show my children love. And even if they never, both of them never love me, I still believe that I can show my children love. You know, I've been around violence. I've been around crime. You know, I've been around a lot of things. But I am still a positive character because I want better for myself. And I see myself, you know, doing things in life, you know, that will leave a legacy for my children. It's one that they will be proud of. You know, so if we think about having a positive mindset and thinking along that line, you know, I guess everything might pan out a bit better. Now, can everybody, in everything you have negativity, you have positivity. You know, everybody now go can't live a straight life. Some people are gonna have issues. Some people are gonna have mental issues. Some people can't go beer. You know, what we do as a society do, we must make the provisions to help those persons. And it starts in the basic school. It starts in the infant school, them, primary school. We must now seek to indoctrinate a generation of our children with love and teaching them the right thing. And if we can do that as a society, then we will effect real change, lasting change. One where a man won't be lying next to his wife and be thinking that he's going to alive her and try to get away with it. One where he's taught that, you know, when you are married, you make an ultimate sacrifice that you will spend the rest of your life. with that one pokey. Sometimes you now get it. And that should be okay. You're not supposed to go out that road. Go lucky. You made a oath. You know, things not go always good in every relationship. But you must make a space. Talk about it. And if you don't feel like talk about it for a couple of days, leave it alone. When the time is right, talk about it. Move on from there. You know? If you have to work and you work, make some time. One day, see the day, yeah, after me and you have to spend time. Can go to the movies, can go for a walk, we can do whatever. And them things that we keep the relationship. I'm not supposed to start telling us still because we know all of me most sound. Saying but, you know, these are things that we can do to keep things alright in a relationship. And we don't have to move to a position where you work too much, me I work too much, we don't see each other, we drift apart, we end up and hate each other now. We can't stand each other, we don't want to be there next to each other. Next thing you know, somebody get boxed down. Next thing you know, somebody get stabbed. Next thing you know, somebody get shot. You know, people say she was killed for reasons. You know, I must tell you first though, I want to know if you understand this. If you are with a man and that man put his hands on you 1, 2, 3, 4 times, he not gonna stop. I tell you. See? We have seen it multiple times through history. Are there men that would hit a woman and will not do it again? Yes. Are there females that will hit a man and will not do it again? Yes. But when you are in a relationship and the man beat you and you take him back, and he beat you again and you take him back, and he beat you again and he take him back, and you take him back, you are giving away your life. People will go through things. You know, people will go through things. And if he put his hand on you, and you give him a chance, and he do it again, then you should not stick around. You know, one believe that 2 adults supposed to be able to talk about their issues. Now, like me say, me will lose my temper, you know. And me will tell you to ras and to bumbo. I will do that. You know. All of my baby mother them and my woman them can tell you. So when time me get mad, me I say, move your pussy clot and go. Move and go. Me will tell you that. But me gone about my business after that. You know. Because when you put me in a position where me have to put me on by you, me I tell myself, say, yeah, try to put me in a trouble. And me no want to be around you. See? And that is how I view things. When me I grew up, I see my father in a yard. No nice guy make it in my father yard. And when my father drive in a yard, any nice way I make a feel lock off. I know war, I know problem me no seen there, except for one occasion. You know, where, you know, one neighbor said they see my father jump a woman fence. So, you know, look how war did I feel that still. Oh no, woman dad. See? So, you know, I don't know if he did jump a fence or not, because I never see. But that was the story. You know, and that was the end of it. There. Look Scruffles go on there, so. And that was the end of it. You know? What happened to Melissa? could have happened to any female. And I saw somebody posted on my Facebook yesterday after I said that the DPP should resign, should be removed. Somebody posted that what happened to the man that died up at Angela house. You know, so I asked the person, you know, what does that have to do with Andrew Holness? And that person, since yesterday, have yet to respond. And this is what you find people doing, my people. This is something that is so wrong. So wrong. And instead of moving to a position where people are saying, no, this is so wrong and it should not happen. People are saying, but what happened to that to justify this? See? So, well, me never say me perfect, you know, Bridget, you know, but, you know, if I tell my two ras them, me alright and me are good. You see me I say? So, I don't really see it as abuse. I see it as, you know, me I let out my anger, you know. So, the job be you may chat till we blue. PNP is too much. PNP in too much high places. Until Andrew remove them, we'll be going back and forth. That is true, Mark Stewart. You know, and that is one of the failures of our government. I am not ashamed to say it. You know, that is one of the failures of our government. Our government has failed to remove the PNP from high places. You know, the PNP don't fail to remove labor rights from high places when them come in. See, I can tell you now. During the Bruce Golding government, my uncle was the chairman at the Transport Authority. And in under 11 months, when Porsche returned to government, they removed my uncle because he was a big labor right. He was a known labor right. They removed him. Saying nah, do a good job and him a bring in parking for go frustrate poor people and all kind of something. They remove him. Spread propaganda and remove him, although he was doing a good job. Because PNP don't like to see labor rights in high position. So our government has failed in that. You know, every single thing that PNP in they should have removed them, shut them down, or relegate them. You know, put in your leadership and give them one different position. Because I am not really for persons to lose their jobs and lose their livelihoods. I am not for that. But, you know, relegate them at least, or move them to somewhere else. You know? So we are going to leave the program right here, my people, as the day progress. And we see what happen in the afternoon. I mean, I'm Prime Minister no, the afternoon live today, but I might. You know, but we definitely are going to do. We definitely are going to do evening to break down what happened today. You know, so, you know, we're going to end the live here. So big up all 109 person. Thank you for getting me over 100 likes. Sorry. Big up all 154 persons who is still here. And you know, I'll soon know sometime. See? Big up on yourself. Much love. Shower liberate.